Alrighty, guys, we're back for Dimir Mill, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, this was a suggestion down in the comments. So thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. It was essentially to try out Consuming Aberration. So that's what we're gonna do. It's a 5-mana creature where its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyards. Okay. So whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card, then puts those cards into the graveyard. That could be a lot. We'll see how good it actually ends up being. Funny enough, it's actually not the main build around, though. I'd say the main build around is our very top end, Doomsday Excruciator. 6 mana, 6/6, flying demon with 6 black pips in the casting cost, guys. Oh my goodness. So when it enters, if it was cast, each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards of their library face down. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card as well. Cool stuff, man, but actually, funny enough, we're still going to try to cheat this on the board, even though it says if it was cast. We have Invasion of Amonkhet in here. And how invasions read is when you remove those defense counters, once the last counter is removed, you exile it, then you cast it transform. So it does read cast, right? So when you cast this transform, this allows a Tep Convert, which is a 4/4 zombie, and you may have it enter as a copy of any creature card in a graveyard, except it's a 4/4 and it's a zombie in addition to its other colors and types. So if we flip Invasion of Amonkhet, we're totally going to be able to copy the Doomsday Excruciator, and then how invasions read, it just happens to say you cast it. So that's actually pretty cool. But then also, guys, we have so many dual lands packed in that I do suppose it's not going to be unheard of to actually just be able to cast this down, even though it does cost 6 black mana. Look at all these dual land. We have 3 Verge, 3 Murky Sewers. We have all 4 Restless Reefs to fit the mill theme. We have all 4 Undercity Sewers, which of course the Surveil really does come in handy. And then all 4 Fabled Passage as well. So with the Surveil on the Sewers and the Fabled Passage also going to the grave, that'll work well with the Threshold on Kiora, the Rising Tide, which is actually a pretty powerful creature, guys. Every time I've played with it so far, the Scion of the Deep, just being a nice chunky 8/8 creature, not half bad. What other kind of chunky creatures do we have in here, though? Well, we have 4 Cruel Somnophage, where its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. Okay, and then also it has the Can't Wake Up sorcery adventure side. Target player mills 4 cards. Funny enough, usually when we play this, we're doing like a self-mill strategy and stuff, but this time we actually want to mill the opponents as much as possible. But there are going to be moments where we do some self-mill, again, maybe for the Threshold on the Kiora. Gnawing Vermin also making the cut. When it enters, target player mills 2 cards. Okay, when it dies, target creature you don't control gets -1/-1, which actually does come in handy. Maybe you'll be able to pop a Llanowar Elf with that. That wouldn't be bad. Speaking of popping creatures, we do got removal packed in. Of course, we had 3 cut downs, 3 bitter triumphs as well, also helping us get those creatures into the grave. Oh, yeah. Outside of like the Threshold on Kiora, there might be moments where you mill yourself to actually get that top end into the grave too, right? Speaking of which, the Invasion of Amonkhet side also helping us mill things too, because each player mills 3 cards, each opponent discards a card, and you get to draw cards too, which is actually a lot of things packed onto that battle, huh? We do have a 1/of Mindskinner, which is actually triple blue. Have you ever seen a more greedy list, guys? Triple blue on Mindskinner, 6 black on the Doomsday Excruciator, and they're in the same deck list? What on earth? All right, Mindskinner can't be blocked, which could be important, especially when it comes time to flip the invasion, right? If a source you control would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards. Cool. We also have a couple Kaito, Cunning, Infiltrator. This is another way to maybe help us get those creatures through to actually hit the Invasion of Amonkhet. But then also creature generation. I also wanted an excuse to play with Kaito as well, which gives me an excuse to play with the other Kaito as well. We'll see if this does the thing too. This one's Bane of Nightmares. And not the only Planeswalkers packed in. Of course, we have 3 Jace Perfected Mind to fit the mill theme as well. Some board wipes with Terror Tide, as well as Deadly Cover-Up, making cuts as 1/of. But honestly, It could be a couple Terror Tides, or it could be a couple Deadly Cover-Ups too, but why not both, right? Guys, that's everything already? Oh my goodness, you know what? No honorable mentions, but you know what should have been in the honorable mentions? Hold on, let me pause the recording and find it real quick. All right, I actually found two to add to the honorable mentions. Render Inert could have been really cool in here. Remove up to 5 counters from target permanent. So instead of like trying our dandiest to actually swing our creatures into the Invasion of Amonkhet, just remove those counters, right? Draw a card as well, so it replaces itself. And then if we go like that route, then more battles could be pretty cool. So Invasion of Kiora actually be awesome. And then once it flips, that would be another way to help us clean up counters off of the other battles too. So yeah, a couple honorable mentions there. All right, guys, I do my D&Ds to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I think that I am overdue for some victories. So I'm actually expecting a lot here, but at the same time, who knows what's going to happen, huh? Who knows? All right, we can grab a black source on the Fabled Passage. It's great that we go first here. This is potentially a mulligan though, huh? Nah, we're fine. Yeah, turn 1 mana fix. Turn 2, maybe we'll do the same thing, especially if we draw mana to help us thin the deck at that point. It's up plains. It is going to be some mana, but instead of Fabled Passage, definitely go into the Surveil land. And then Gnawing Vermin will be decent. I like Cruel Somnophage. I think we're going to keep that on top. Yeah. Do we start milling? Then we start milling them because I want the Cruel Somnophage to stay on top first of all. Oh, Anointed Peacekeeper. Okay. So, second land, they're looking at our vermin. It's going to be Invasion of Gabakhan. All right. What do they hit here? Like Bitter Triumph or something? They actually don't like our Jace. I guess that makes sense. We could have established it next turn for 3 mana. All right, now, without Invasion of Amonkhet in hand, I don't think it's worth the self-mill. I think we'll just keep milling them with the Cruel Somnophage and stuff. We'll have the cut down open, I guess. We want to do that. See what we see. And then cut down's open. Oh, wow. Okay. When I saw Anointed Peacekeeper, I thought we were actually going to be up against a creature deck list, but I guess not. Honestly, it's great to see that we milled a couple of those virtues. Looks like it's going to be passed right back. It is. So keeping the cut down open didn't help that time. Another Cruel Somnophage, not bad. 1 mana away. We're going to do as much as possible on this turn. I believe we grab a swamp. Yeah, 1 mana away from Jace. We'll have to spend 2 life on it, though, too. Alright, I'll start with the Can't Wake Up. Again, targeting the opponent, because that's what we're trying to do in this deck list, I guess. Until we have, like, the Invasion of Amonkhet, in which case, there are going to be moments where we want to self-mill, too. Even Interrupter. Okay. Spells your opponent's cast from graveyards or exile. Oh, crap. Oh, crap, dude. So they plot the Cruel Somnophage. So we can play that next turn. But we probably... Crap. It's a great tempo play from the opponent. Maybe I just keep the removal open and decide on their turn what we want to do. Actually, we'll let the opponent decide with our Gnawing Vermin, huh? Okay, they do take the 1. And then Yeah, we're fine. Well, it could be another Aven Interrupter, though. Yeah, I guess it could be. Cutdown's probably a better bet than the Bitter Triumph right now, since it can actually hit the Interrupter. Crawling Chorus. Bro, I have no idea what we're up against. Okay, Murky Sewer. Guess we'll start by trying to mill them. See if it's another Aven Interrupter. It might be. It is. Crap. Crap, guys. I think I'm going to take the 3 from the Bitter Triumph, because I don't want to lose the Murky Sewer Water. That's pretty rough. We could also we could play... No, it's definitely better to get that through, right? It's a good block there now, too. Yeah, while they're tapped out, let's do this. We'll pay the 3. Hope that's okay, because it looks like they might have some poison packed in, so they might not care about our life total too much. And then I want to play this. Get the Cruel Somnophage down, which is a 3/3, which is not bad. That's... Yeah, we don't do that. Not yet. There might be a better block or something in the Vermin's future. Yeah, with 5 down now, even if we see an untapped source off the top, we'll be pretty happy. 6-mana Jace at that point. If the opponent lets us, right? Anointed Peacekeeper, Aven Interrupter. So they got like this theme going on here, because they got this Invasion of Amonkhet too, where... Okay, Werefox Bodyguard. Okay. Well, that could have been worse, right? And we do have enough removal packed in to where that might not be an issue. They also have the bottom ability on that too when it comes time. I'll let them hit that for 1. Again, there might be something better in the Vermin's future. It's going to be a tapped land. Maybe we attempt a 6-mana Jace instead of taking 2 here. I guess we'll actually go for the Can't Wake Up and the Cruel Somnophage, get the Restless Reef down, and then try 6-mana Jace next turn. Still just a 3/3, huh? Wow. It was 3 land and another Invasion of Amonkhet. The opponent's deck list is actually pretty cool, isn't it? So we could slip 1 through here, or we could keep it back as a blocker for the Bodyguard, which I think is a little better. Uh-oh, they're going to be flipping this Invasion of Amonkhet either way, though, huh? With a full swing to it, though. Which means we'll get the other Cruel Somnophage back. So they might not want to. Another Invasion of Amonkhet for fun. I guess since we have an empty hand, if they have nothing else, they might as well play it down. Sheltered by Ghosts, they do find some removal for the Werefox Bodyguard. But if they swing with it, Vermin still gets there. Because we have the ward. We can pay the ward easily. Right. So they're going to flip. That's going to have to be okay for now, because we have to take care of this Bodyguard. Right? Yeah, we have to. We have to get our creatures back. But it's definitely rough. Auto pay. Yeah, putting it on the Bodyguard was a little risky, since we had the excellent block there. So all their creatures get a counter. All their creatures that attacked. All right. Is Jace even worth it, or do we just power up the Restless Reef, go for damage? They'll flip the other Invasion, but they're out of cards. They drop an Oops. I think they realized Sheltered by Ghosts probably should have went on to a different creature, maybe. I think that's what the Oops was. Ooh, big damage, guys. Big damage. Wow. Holy cow. Let's see what the opponent draws into. A Mirex. They can flip the other Invasion, but they need to keep blockers back now for sure. Mirex tokens, of course, can't block. They know that we have the Jace. They need to keep all 3 blockers back. Yeah, GG opponent. So technically, they could have survived 1 turn depending on what we saw off the top. All right. Well, I don't know. I was going to say, like, did we get lucky? But I don't know. We kind of did the thing, I guess, right? I think it was definitely worthwhile still targeting the opponent with all the mill. Actually, that's what I should have checked at the end there. I should have checked to see how many cards they still had remaining. Of course, I'm pretty sure they still had a ton of cards remaining, but I should have checked to see how much we actually got to mill. 3 Undercity Sewers is pretty slow when the opponent's going first. You know what? We'll try it, though. We'll try it. Hello, opponent. We don't get many hellos. Novice Inspector. Okay. Doomsday Excruciator. Yeah. Okay. Gloomlake. Yep. Keep it on top, because it's actually untapped, which means we might get Gnawing Vermin and a cut down open, which is actually important, I would say. Or do we want to attempt turn 3 Jace? Nah, that's not necessary, right? So Gloomlake, it's just a really good Dimir land right now. Vermin. With Inspector, I can expect where... Well, opponent, wait for me to guess. Yes, Resolute Reinforcements. Makes a lot of sense. While they're tapped out, we could drop the... First of all, I'll mill them. Again, based on our hand and everything. A couple planes. I hope we didn't just help them out, huh? Yeah, while they're tapped out, we could go cut down, but if it's just mono white, I'm going to keep it open. There might be a better target. Resolute Reinforcements. Well, then. Vermin is actually great against all these 1/1s, but see what they end up doing here. Knight Errant of Eos. I should have foreseen this, guys. They have 5 creatures on the board. Oh, crap, dude. Oh, crap. I should have foreseen this for sure. Actually, on the stack of the reinforcements, we should have popped the Inspector. They would have only had 4 creatures, so Knight Errant wouldn't have been able to come down. Grab another Knight Errant and an Inspector. Well, this is awkward, huh? This is awkward. That's my bad, guys. I wasn't thinking twice about a Knight Errant. I was just thinking, wow, they're tapped out. Nice. Kaito. I'm assuming we're about to be under 13 or less life, right? So an untapped source for a turn 4 could be pretty good. I'm going to keep it on top. Actually, at that point too, we're 1 black source away from just casting out the Doomsday Excruciator. Definitely keep the blocker back. We also could have sent the sewer to try to find more removal, but we'll see what ends up happening here. Probably just go for Knight Errant again. Restock their hand. They're getting some good 4/4s. Oh no, what have I done? Keeping that cut down for so long. Really should have popped that Inspector beforehand. Because that sets them ahead pretty good. Hopefully they miss a Knight Errant, though. Hopefully they don't find number 3. Opponent! We're in so much danger, dude. And Ginger Brute, too. Cool. I like that. Okay, guys, we might as well chump block, right? We might as well. Although we could keep the chump blocker for when we actually have a Planeswalker down. But the Planeswalker is going to take pressure off of our face anyways. Not taking 4 now is also fine, I suppose, right? And then we can pop the reinforcements. And then it's actually going to be just Jace take 2 down to 17. No, Kaito's open too. The other Kaito. Kaito Cunning Infiltrator. Let's see. We can go -2. Right, we also could have... Yeah, if we'd taken 4, we would have just went down to 15. So we start with the sewers, see what's on top. Gnawing Vermin is, yeah, again, not terrible against this board state. I wouldn't mind seeing the 6th mana, though, for the Doomsday Excruciator. Is that really worth the send, though, just to try to find it? We could try. It also might just be an island, though, too. All right, instead of taking 2 from the Jace, we're going to go for Ninja on Kaito, which will take some pressure off of our face anyways. We'll have a chump blocker, and then they'll probably swing at the Kaito as well.
Come on, Pom-Pom-chan. We've got a fight to win.
Which actually, they can get through with the Ginger Brute if that's what they want to do. The concept here is if we have our chump blocker, then they have to swing at least 2 creatures at the Kaito to pop it. But the goal here is, so we divert 2 creatures and then chump a Knight Errant. If we go... Actually, man, that's a lot to think about there. I don't know if that was optimized. They go Ginger Brute, so can't block, right? So yeah, they don't need 2 creatures to swing at Kaito. They're actually keeping some back anyways. So we could go down to 11. The Murky Sewer will come out untapped then. We don't need the 5th mana though now. Or we don't need the 5th mana untapped is the thing. But yeah, I'm going to keep the 2-1 around. Let's just go down to 11. Let's hope that there's a better block in that 2-1's future. We milled those 2 planes earlier, and the opponent has been stuck at 2 mana. Not like it matters too much with all the Knight Errants, though. Okay, let's see what they hit. Luckily, they didn't tap 5 this time, so they can't find the 4th Knight Errant. It's another Gnawing Vermin, guys. That's all 3. I was like, did I not send that? No, I totally sent it. Well, it's actually not terrible, because we can play it. And one of our 4-mana planeswalkers, which I suppose at this point... Yeah, we continue milling them. Haha, we hit another land. It's a Battlefield Forge too. They're Boros guys. That's really funny, man. So we have some options. Jace can go plus for the -3 ability, which isn't terrible, but Kaito can also go -2 for the stun counter ability, which I think I'm going to value a little more here. It's another concept where we're going to be taking some pressure off of our face. I hope that's okay. Yeah, stun counter for 2 turns. That's pretty good.
You're not going anywhere.
Okay, Kaito's only a creature on our turn as well. The Surveil 2 also could have been pretty good before losing the Kaito this turn. The opponent is so wide that, yeah, Surveil 2, find a board wipe. That could have been really good, right? We'll see what we can get done here. So we have a block into Ginger Brute, but we don't need to block the Ginger Brute. Could also go like this. 1, 2, 6, 7, down to 4. Then we'll pop the Ginger Brute with the Gnawing Vermin's ability. We get the reinforcements off the board too. I suppose we could chump the other Knight Errant as well, take less. Taking less might actually be better, but they're planning on buffing wide eventually anyways. This is I'm having a lot of trouble thinking this match through, guys. But I do know one thing. That first Knight Errant, that shouldn't have happened, man. That was just my fault. It's a safer bet to actually chump the Knight Errants because we actually don't know what these 2 planes could have been. Okay, couple frontliners. Kaito's a creature. Invasion of Amonkhet. We don't find the 6th for the Excruciator, but it wouldn't have mattered anyways because we didn't have... Wait a minute. If we did find the 6th for the Excruciator... No, because if Jace was on the board, there could have been a really good chance that they would have taken it out with the swing anyways. The concept there was we were expecting Kaito to be taken out by the swing, but it wasn't. So we can tap down another Knight Errant. Let's start with the card draw on the Invasion of Amonkhet then, see what we see. Get that mill going. What's on top? What do we got? Oh, the opponent has to discard here too. Oh, it would have been an island too if we would have gotten that land. Restless Reef. All right, we have the 6 for the Doomsday Excruciator. However, since that's a tapped land, we actually don't have a 3-mana Jace for the turn. At that point, we can... it doesn't matter. We'll tap down another Knight Errant of Eos. and then get the GGs ready.
Will ya?
Yeah, I feel like I could have played this one out much, much better, and maybe we'd actually still be in that too. If they did actually miss that first Knight Errant, yeah, I think this could have been a much different game. Bring back the frontliner. Did I already drop them the GGs, or did I just think I dropped them the GGs? There we go. We actually dropped it this time. So their deck list is running all 4 Yotian frontliners. With them seeing 3 of the Knight Errant of Eos too, I can imagine that they're running all 4 Knight Errants as well. Since they saw 3 of them, and then it was Boros. They actually have Lightning Helix in here too. And probably like War Leader's Call and stuff too. We actually don't see that version of Boros very often. All right, guys, let's keep the ball rolling. I'll try to roll it into some better decisions. Jeez. Something that could be... No, never mind. I was going to say maybe a Zombify is a one-of, but really, like, I guess it wouldn't be too bad to Zombify the Doomsday Excruciator. The problem is you wouldn't get the ability, but it is a 6/6 demon. No, Zombify is probably not worth it for how we set this deck list up. We go first. Beautiful. Really nice. With Kiora in hand, we might mill ourselves. So, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you put a loyalty counter on Kaito. This is a good hand, dude. I'm gonna keep the Fabled Passage. We don't have a turn 3 unless we see an untapped source off the top, but it's definitely worth keeping Fabled Passage around, I would say. I'm gonna mill ourselves this time. See what we see. Hopefully we don't mill all 4 Invasion of Amonkhet. Not bad. A little sad by the Jace, but yeah, with Kiora in hand, that makes a lot of sense to me. Ooh, another Cruel Somnophage. See what we see on the sewers. It's another sewers, which I suppose would be okay. But I'm actually just going to send it. No, I'll keep it. I'll keep it. Yeah, we'll just play this Cruel Somnophage over here. And keep the sewers on top. It's just a 1/1 though. He's just a little buddy opponent. Don't hurt our Cruel Somnophage. Go for a Cruel Caretaker's Talent. Okay. Now we have the Kiora play. Which is not attacking this turn anyway, so we don't have to worry about the threshold. But we're about to get the threshold anyways. Kiora, let's see. See what we see. Yeah, we might not be able to outright cast the Doomsday Excruciator, so getting it into the grave now could be good. I hope that's okay. I mean, yeah, realistically, we'd have to wait 4 more turns. No, 3 more turns, and all of them have to be black sources. So this is fine. It's totally fine to send it. It feels really weird, because that's our top end, but I'm pretty sure that's okay. Opponent finds their 4th mana. Is it board wipe number 1? That's the question. It's Abeza. That's pretty scary, actually. All right. I'll do this right now. And grab a swamp. We're going to run out. Basics. Kaito, Cunning, Infiltrator. Go +1. Onto Kiora. Maybe we start by Cruel Somnophage on ourself again. See how much we boost the Cruel Somnophage on the board. That's a bunch of mana. Wow. I guess we would have been able to play the Doomsday Excruciator. Well, that depends though too, doesn't it? All right.
Give me a challenge.
Onto Kiora.
Stick to the shadows.
Definitely get rid of the Fabled Passage. we have 2 of them now. Swing with Kiora. Get an 8/8. It's cool, man. It's pretty cool, but if there was ever time for a board wipe, at that point, they'd want to try to swing at the Kaito first, because Kaito's just chilling over there. 5 loyalty counters is no joke. And then we can go plus onto the 8/8 too. Go Caretaker's Talent. Carrot Cake, nice. We're kind of sort of safe for the turn. Kiora, now guys, the Scion of the Deep is a legendary creature. So it's not like Kiora is going to generate another one anyways, so we probably go plus onto the 8/8. Cut down's not bad. Start generating some ninjas with the Kaito too. See, I mean, they got chump blockers for days though, don't they? Yeah, maybe I should have laid off the self-mill on that other turn, but all 4 Invasion of Amonkhets in here. Struggling to see them right now. Start by thinning the deck, then maybe we'll surveil on the Kaito in hand. Maybe. That is 5 black sources on the board if we end up seeing another Doomsday Excruciator. Can play the other Cruel Somnophage for the turn too. Or we could go plus on this Kaito. Grab a ninja from the other Kaito. No, then we're just really tempting them. So actually drawing and discarding would have been better. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Because we also... Ooh, Consuming Aberration. Oh, I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that in hand. Yeah, I like that. Anyways, guys. Wow. What to do? The surveil... I don't even know if it's worth the surveil now. Everything was played out of order. Because we also could have went like plus onto the Cruel Somnophage, then ninjutsu'd the Kaito out. We're just going to go +1 because I don't think the surveil is necessary right now, and we have really good blockers on the board to protect our planeswalkers, which are going to start to overwhelm the opponent pretty fast, even after a board wipe, keeping the planeswalkers around. So no board wipe for the turn is great news, unless it's a 3-mana board wipe. 4-mana board wipe. Carrot Cake, okay. Okay. We're fine, guys. We're fine, even though I'm playing things out of order. That was definitely an excellent hit for the opponent. With Consuming Aberration, yeah, the second Cruel Somnophage, I should have milled the opponent there for sure. Jace. Wow, okay. And we'll only have 1. Probably Jace before combat. Kaito does have the -2. See what we can get done with this Cruel Somnophage, but we don't know how many creatures they actually are rocking in there. Tough decisions, man. Really tough decisions.
I'll take note of all your failures.
Yeah, let's go for it. X is 4. Keep the Jace around as a potential threat. But we're milling them 12. Hopefully we hit some creatures here.
I will shatter.
There's no way. 0 creatures, guys. 0 creatures. All right, no swing with the Cruel Somnophage, I suppose. At that point, go plus on the Kaito again, because it gets it to a good swing. We could potentially try to see what we see with the map tokens. Undercity Sewers. Let's start with the surveil then. Doomsday Excruciator. I'm keeping that on top, dude. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Check out what's on top of the deck list, opponent. All right, we'll let them get some chumps in. Even if Jace dies, we don't have enough to... So they go chump. They go chump. Right. I mean, it's 14 on the board, so they have to chump at least one of them. Now, potentially we have enough chump blockers to keep the Jace around. It doesn't really matter too much when they have Get Lost in the deck list too. Only 2 of them are gone. They do go full swing at the Kaito, actually. Which I suppose makes sense. But we have a great double block into Beza, then we get to keep the Kaito around. I'm going to keep the Kiora around too, just in case they decide to destroy our 8/8. I don't want to block with Kiora into a 1/1 because Elspeth's Smite could exist too. We'd rather them tap out for the turn and not have the Smite when we swing in or something. That's the thought process there. Cruel Somnophage. Oh, it was a Sunfall turn anyways, guys. Well, we have a Doomsday Excruciator turn, which should be equally as scary for the opponent when we still have a Jace around. However, they do have the Incubator token now to pop the Jace when it comes time. We don't have the -2 on Jace, but we do have a -X. GG opponent. Wow. I'm pretty surprised by that, man. I am. I played it out very poorly, I would say, overall. The deck list performed well. It was mono white mid-range, so it was destined to be a brutal match. Pulled it off somehow. Nice. Also, maybe I'm being too hard on myself. Maybe I was making okay decisions. It kind of didn't feel like it, though. Right. So, yeah, all we had at most was Doomsday Excruciator, bring him down to 6, -X for 1 on Jace, bring him down to 3 cards remaining, because Excruciator was going to be 6 mana. Look at the Consuming Aberration at that point, guys. It was a 16/16. That's pretty cool. Also, we didn't have to reveal the Doomsday Excruciator on the top. We could have kept it on top, not used the map token. But the map token for the extra counter seemed worth it still. All right, guys. We're 36 minutes in. End of video pack? We didn't get the mill today, though. Let's push it overtime, guys. Let's see what we got here in our Bloomburrow pack. Portent of Calamity. Huh. Okay. Push it a little overtime. Let's go one more game. Win or lose, I'm relatively satisfied, but I really want to get that mill, of course. I guess technically the last game, if the opponent didn't concede, that would have been the mill game. But I actually want to see it happen, too. Oh, Invasion of Amonkhet. Hello, making an appearance. I'm glad we did this already. I'm happy. See, it's on top. I keep it. It's probably a good idea to keep a lot of the mana, especially if it is also a black source, too. Holy cow, thank goodness we went first, huh? It would have been really good to have that Gnawing Vermin down already, though. All right. We mill Invasion of Amonkhet in hand. We mill ourselves as we try to find the Doomsday Excruciator with the Invasion of Amonkhet in hand. That's actually a really hard balance that the deck list has to figure out. Cunning Coyote. Nice. That gets the Swift Spear through. I'll take that trade into the Coyote, right? What would you guys do here? I think while we can trade, we should trade. Because if they, as soon as they keep a mountain open, it's Monstrous Rage. All right. Let's do this. Holy cow, guys, it's more mana. We milled 2 mana with the Gnawing Vermin and 3 mana with the Invasion of Amonkhet. Holy cow. 5, that's 10 mana in the top 14 cards. It's more mana. Woo! That is what I call a flood. I'm scared, but we should be okay. Luckily, we milled a lot of it away. That would have been terrible. Wow, neat, neat. Scamp doesn't usually have haste, but with Cunning Coyote coming down. The Mindskinner. Which is a terrifying name, holy cow. But what do we do? Untap source Jace. Jace goes bus. Nerfs the Scamp potentially. The Mindskinner's terrible against this style of red, right? Actually, they could just pop Scamp, pop it easily. Maybe we go Invasion. Number 2. That doesn't seem worth it either. Jace takes pressure off of our face.
Phyrexia showed me the flesh.
Ah, jeez, bro. Ah, geez. All right. I guess the scamp, it's -2.
Subdued.
I think we're in danger. Like a lot of danger. Bonus rage. It's a 0-1. And turn inside out. It's a 3-1. That's 8 to face, and then just 3 more from the scamp unless they have the throw for the turn. They do. Holy cow. Good game, opponent. Well, that would have been a really hard match for anybody. I'm glad we saw Invasion of Amonkhet, but bro, that lined up a little bit too well, huh? That was a lot. Actually, a couple things on the opponent's deck list. Really like the Cunning Coyote edition. I like that a lot. As far as I can tell, that's the only edition that I'm surprised about, right? But like once you see it in action, it did a lot here. It really did. It got the Swiss Spear on turn 2 around the Gnawing Vermin, which was essential because of all the excess prowess damage that the Swiss Spear ended up doing. Then Cunning Coyote gave haste on turn 3 to the Cacophony Scamp, which again was significant. Like we're only at -2. So actually, if Cunning Coyote wasn't chilling, we'd still be in that game potentially. That just, yeah, really cool addition, opponent. I do like that. 41 minutes in, guys. Let's go talk about the deck list again. I would have loved to actually see the mill happen, but overall, it's going to be a little janky, isn't it? Even though we do have some great Dimir cards packed in. That's our 4th Portent of Calamity. What the heck does this even do? It's X and a blue sorcery speed. Reveal the top X cards of your library for each card type. You may exile a card of that type from among them, put the rest into your graveyard. You may cast a spell from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost. If you exiled 4 or more cards this way, then put the rest of the exiled cards into your hand. So you get to cast one of them, right? If you did 4 or more, X is 4 or more. That's kind of cool, right? But I guess there's a reason I had to read it. We don't really get to see that very often. Guys, our Planeswalker matches, or our Planeswalker lineup is really cool. Kaito, Cunning, Infiltrator working really well with Kaito, Bane of Nightmares was one of my great confusions in that game, where I wasn't actually, like, I knew they were going to synergize with the whole ninja nonsense and stuff too, but it really wasn't clicking with me right away, at least, what the best option was, because boy, does it give us a lot of options. Like, we could even go +1 on Cunning Infiltrator onto the Bane of Nightmares to get that through. +1 on the Bane of Nightmares, give our ninjas a bonus, which means maybe we want to just go -2 to get excess ninjas on the board too. There's like a lot of things to consider there. Or sometimes the opponent has stuff you want to tap down. Also, the Surveil 2 would be good before you end up drawing, which you can draw on the top ability on Kaito, Cunning Infiltrator. Just like, it was just a confusing mess, and hopefully I ended up playing it out well enough anyways. A little disappointed that we didn't get to flip Invasion of Amonkhet and actually copy the Doomsday Excruciator, but let's be real, it's not the only thing in here that would be worth copying. Pretty much anything is fine, right? Consuming Aberration would be a good copy as well. Kiora would not be a bad copy. Mindskinner would not be a terrible copy either, especially if you're swinging in with big old chunky Somnophages. Somnophage, however, would be a bad copy, correct? Because it says its power toughness each equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. However, Lazotep actually says, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure it would just be a 4/4, which could be good if there was only like one creature in a graveyard, right? But most of the time, Cruel Somnophage isn't what you want to pick up with this, and hopefully you have some of those top-end creatures. We do have 6 total top-end creatures, or Kiora is also a great one. Gnawing Vermin actually isn't a terrible one to pick up with the Invasion of Amonkhet too, because of the ETB effect, and it's usually a 1/1, but now it's a 4/4, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Let me, I don't like how I rearranged that. Terror Tide actually would have been great against the mono red list too, right? Did we have enough permanents in our graveyard? Because we got the 4th. We had Jace on the board. Terror Tide over Deadly Cover-Up, definitely something to consider. I'm going to just keep the one of both of them. Oh, guys, put it on the Do Not Craft list. Going to be pretty janky overall. However, that being said, if you have the cards already, it might be a fun one. It might be okay to try out. Be prepared. I thought it was very hard to run. That might just be me. It's definitely not my usual cup of tea. Still kind of fun, though. Let's see. The early removal was fine. Everything at the front worked fine. Of course, like more cut downs would have helped out against mono red. That's going to come down to what you're actually seeing in your meta too. I think overall the 3 cut downs, 3 bitter triumphs will be fine enough, right? However, yeah, if you are seeing a lot of those early aggro matches, then the 4th cut down could be worth the cut. At that point, it's going to be sad, but going down to like 2 Doomsday Excruciators would work fine. You don't need the Mindskinner in here. It is a little funny that the deck list is being incredibly greedy. It's a little silly, but what does the rare and everything else look like in here? A lot of uncommons and a lot of rares. Let's see. We do have some mythics with the Planeswalkers, of course. A good chunk of rares. The Deadly Cover-Up as well, Mindskinner, and of course the mana too. The mana base. Since we have so much greed in here, of course, we have a lot of the rare cards packed into the mana base. Restless Reef and the Undercity Sewers are probably going to be the best lands in the build. I still like the 4 Fabled Passage, but you might actually run out of basics in here. But the 4 Fabled Passage works well because you can, if you didn't end up seeing like Undercity Sewers and you didn't actually see one of your other basics, you need to mana fix a lot anyways, but mana fixing into one of your basics so that way Gloomlake Verge is actually just a great dual land. Still makes a lot of sense to me. And then Murky Sewer, the only dual land that is not expensive and the only common card in here, guys. So this is why I put it on the Do Not Craft list. If you have the cards, this could be interesting. Should we put it on the craft a little bit less list? Maybe. Based on your collection, I still think if you're going to go Dimir, you might as well actually go Dimir. That'll win you some games. But sometimes that's not as fun as just like trying to do the fun thing, and maybe you really like mill strategies. Even then, I don't know if this is necessarily the path mill wants to take. Especially since like this one too is kind of like on that fence of, do I mill myself or do we mill the opponent? I think most of the time actually what it came down to in those matches is we might actually be milling ourselves way more than I initially thought, because you want to actually see that top end in your grave so that way you can flip it with Invasion of Amonkhet. And remember guys, we're not rocking actual reanimation in here because Doomsday says you have to cast it, which is why the Invasion of Amonkhet is the kind of sort of reanimation card in here. I think overall it could be cool, but the meta is just so brutal that we could do better. I think when we return to mill, we might be able to find something a little better. I don't know. That's tough. That's tough because if we revisit Dimir Mill, it might be a very similar strategy with Jace and Doomsday Excruciator, but maybe just like actually casting out the Excruciator rather than trying to do something fancy with the Invasion. That way we're not confused and trying to mill ourselves too. So maybe we'd cut things like Kiora for that way we're not confused about the threshold and stuff, and we're just always hitting the opponent's deck list instead with the other mill cards. That being said too, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's got a pretty decent curve for what it is, huh? That's not terrible when we're looking at the curve like that. Yeah, I really like the Planeswalker lineup too, so interesting. Would have been awesome to get that 16-16 Consuming Aberration down that one game, but that was the game that the opponent conceded right before we were actually able to play the Doomsday Excruciator. At that point, on the turn that we played Excruciator, we bring him down to 6. Something I didn't consider was the fact that next turn we'd actually have the Aberration to play too. So even if we weren't going for the mill strategy and if they didn't have anything for our 6-6 flyer or our 16-16 ground, then that also could have been the reason why they conceded, but I doubt that, right? I'm pretty sure they conceded because the mill was about to happen, since we actually kept the 1 loyalty Jace on the board too. Huh. Another deck list where I'm like relatively confused. Guys, let me know what you thought down in the comments. What would you add or take out? Would you take some of this greed out? Probably, right? And I think that would start with like Mindskinner and going up for more ways to survive early on too. More removal would not hurt anything in here. And the Mindskinner having that 1 toughness is brutal. I love that it can't be blocked though. And it's actually in here as the one of also because of the Invasion of Amonkhet. It's kind of hard to flip this sometimes. So being able to be unblocked, you could just pick other creatures that can't be blocked though too, right? Or go up the 3rd Kaito Cunning Infiltrator to help our like chunky Cruel Somnophage through or something. Do I have the 3rd? I do not have the 3rd actually, which is probably not worth the craft for me. Since I don't, like, we play blue, but we don't play it a lot. And I can't think of anything right now where I want to try Cunning Infiltrator again outside of maybe eventually pairing it again with Kaito, and maybe trying some ninja strategies or something too. What kind of ninjas do... Ninja. There we go. Is that it? Is that all we got in standard right now? Ah, geez, bro. Ah, geez, what did they do to my ninjas? The Cryptomancer is interesting though. Somebody brought up before Cryptomancer would be interesting in an aura build because it just has that flat hexproof. That is true. That would be really, really cool, huh? Ninja auras? Ooh, okay, okay. Now, that's something to think about, right? Actually, does this work with... This works with enchantments. Put a number of legendary and or enchantment cards from among them into your hand. Oh, and then the Kaitos are legendary? Okay, now we're talking. Oh, some ninja auras in the near future, huh? That'd be a cool Esper list. Okay, anyways, guys, that's besides the point. Holy cow. If you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.